Tonight, there will be murder in the mansion of Maximus Bottom. He has sent out a few invitations for one of his final famous dinner parties, for he is a 114-year-old man, and he has not long left to live. So before he shoves off this mortal coil, he has invited a few of his closest friends and family to join him in a discussion of his will. But little did he know, there would be murder.
Yeah.
And we begin on a nice sunny day on this huge mansion out in the middle of nowhere. We see Baxter Bottom, nephew of Baron Maxwell Bottom, getting escorted by carriage through the outer gates. You do notice there is large stone walls around his manor with a bunch of guards with crossbows and wizards with magic spells ready to fire to kill anybody who comes in. It is on high alert today, and there is lots of people roaming the grounds ready to strike. As your carriage goes through, and you pass through the garden, the very well manicured hedges of different shapes of dragons and different shapes of monsters and lions and tigers, you manage to pull up and you open up the carriage and you exit to be greeted by the butler of the house. Evan, can you describe your character as the butler?
Sure. I am a 6'2" Dragonborn in a very nice butler's attire, vest and suit jacket, as well as undershirt, small little bow tie. That's about it. I also wear a small pair of spectacles upon my snout for being able to see through, as I am partially blind. And I will greet everybody saying, hello, welcome to the manor. How is your morning today?
Yes, and now Bryce, introduce your character as you walk up to the butler.
Well, hello. My name is Baxter Bottom, and to describe myself, I am a very well-dressed Tabaxi. But I have never looked in a mirror, and I do not know I am a Tabaxi. But I'm very well dressed. Very well dressed.
All right. Great. So you see servants coming out and taking all of your stuff to be put into the manor. Harring, you know that you are charged today to get whatever the guests are required of you, and make sure they're comfortable, and to wait until dinner time. It is now around noon.
Okay. Then I will just say to Baxter that we can start refreshment-wise, or I'm sure you're tired from your journey. Very lovely vestments you have on in the moment.
Why, thank you, Mr. Harring. I appreciate it highly. I would like a refreshment, perhaps something nice and chilled, a water perhaps, with a straw, of course. You know how I adore straws.
Right away, some water for you.
Excellent. And could you tell me where my room is going to be? I'm assuming it's where I usually stay, but I don't know. Uncle's been more poopy of late, so it could be a different room.
As far as the master of the house has told me so far, that it was the exact same room as you stayed in before. So
Blessed. Lead me.
I will go ahead and lead him towards the room at the same time, passing by one of the other servants, being like, "Get me a cold glass of water, or just at least a glass of water with a straw in it. Post haste."
Yes, they will rush off as you escort him into the manor. After this, we will cut away to Baron Bottom Maximus, sitting in his office room, in his desk. He has called Fransisca up to his office on this day, on this very important day. This man is humongous for his age. Balding, white-haired, huge jowls, can barely fit himself in the chair, is kind of eating a slice of chicken as he is talking to you. You don't know where he got it. And you see behind him is a doctor, a female elf. She seems to be administering some sort of magic healing to his back as he talks to you. Fransisca, how to describe your character, please?
I'm a warforged that's been built to look like a little girl. I have like braids coming out of my hair that are just wires, and a little cap. And I've stitched together some like overalls for myself, and I tried to put a little bow tie, but it's just a ribbon that's just in a knot. I'm kind of falling apart in sort of like disarray a little bit. You feel like maybe too strong of a sneeze could just blow my elbows off or something, but I'm doing my best.
Okay. And Baron Maximus Bottom looks at you while eating and says, Fransisca, some things have been going missing around the manor. You wouldn't have anything to do with that now, would you?
No.
This is a very important day, you know.
I know that.
I don't have long. How long, doctor? And the doctor says, a couple of months. A couple of months, he says. This might be my final party, and you are not going to fuck it up.
I would never.
That's what you say. Well, I got a task for you, all right? First of all, don't get too excited. First of all, I need you to go find my mistress Stelleto, bring her over here, post haste.
Do I
Need
have
to
to?
talk to her. Yes. Very important.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Next, there have been some weird things happening out in the garden. I need you to investigate and make sure that there ain't no critters lying around there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
I'm
We've
on
been
it.
having some... Yeah. We've been having some weird things going on, and I want to make sure everything is perfect.
Well, if you're talking about things being perfect, maybe just a couple extra parts or something, and I could do it a little smoother.
Extra parts?
And just reinforce what I already have, even.
You have parts.
I do, but they're kind of falling off. Look, this one creaks and wiggles.
Oh, well, whose fault is that? It's not mine. Now go ahead and do your dang task, or I'll build someone else to do it for you.
Okay, right away.
And he ushers you out. And you go see the mistress, Fransisca?
Yes.
Okay. Kirk, your character, where would she be at this moment in the morning here?
She would definitely be in, if there is I don't know if there's a salon somewhere, or
Sure.
somewhere where she can relax and kind of spread out.
Sure.
Yeah.
It could be like a pool.
Yeah, there we go.
this, you can be sunbathing by the pool out back.
Mm-hmm. I think that would be good.
Cool. So as Fransisca approaches, describe your character, Kirk.
You see a well-dressed, buxom goblin lying about on the near on the side of the pool, still fully dressed outside. A long, flowing goblin hair, corset, fully maked up, dolled up, lounging about near the side of the pool. She seems to be in a relaxed state, stroking a very large white cat, almost as large as her, considering she is a little bit over 3 feet. So the cat is sitting on top of her, almost covering her, as she is lounging by the pool. Seems to just be doing nothing at the moment, just stroking the cat, oblivious to the world.
Excuse me, ma'am? Miss Mayfield?
What?
The Baron wanted to see you.
Oh, what does he want now?
I don't know, he didn't say.
And he sent you?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's disgraceful.
I am sorry.
You should be, you little thing, you. All right, let's get this over with. And she puts the cat on the ground and says, go have some fun, Villers. And she gets on up, kind of straightens everything, tries to get the cat hair off her chest, fairly unsuccessfully.
Do you
and
need
says,
help with that?
No!
Okay.
And she says, lead the way, little creature.
Okay.
All right, you lead onwards up to the room where you just were, and you hear Baron Bottom talking to himself, mumbling a little bit as you approach. Do you knock on the door? Either of you?
Actually, I'll just go ahead of Fransisca at this point and kind of just slam open the doors and say, "Darling!" and kind of almost change, like the demeanor changes from like kind of just like a very like matter of fact walk to I'm suddenly kind of floaty, and I look more courtly as I saddle up to him and attempt to give him a little kiss on the cheek.
Great. You do so. You have to climb on the desk a bit to reach
I
up
just
him.
get up on that desk. Hop right on out.
It's like, Stelleto. Wonderful to see you. All right, Fransisca, you go ahead and do your other tasks.
Yes, okay.
All right, and as you leave them, he talks to you, Stelleto, says, "How have you been, darling?"
Oh, it's been wonderful, lover. I'm having the greatest time outside right now.
Wonderful. Well, I just needed to bring some stuff up to make sure that you're not surprised tonight when I read off my will.
Oh, yes. I'm sure it's a very important affair.
Lots of people will be here. I just want you to know that there are others that might be in the will that are not you.
Oh, it's okay. I'm happy to share.
Many others that are not you and might also not be you in there.
Well, as long as I'm taken care of, I don't see any problem with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
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 Great. I'm glad
I'm
we're on
glad
the
we had this
same page.
conversation, darling.
Yes. We have such great conversations.
I know. I can't
Yes.
wait till after the party. I'll take you upstairs and give your feet a good rubbing tonight.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, yes, indeed. Just be aware, I am also seeing another mistress.
What?
And she will be in there, but do not cause a scene, okay?
And she just kind of growls. Like
Don't
an actual growl.
Don't cause a scene, okay?
Of course, darling. I never embarrass you in front of your family.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
You want to do a quickie real quick?
No, and I jump off the desk and say, I'll see you tonight. And I slam the door behind me.
All right, bye. All right,
and I'll mutter as I leave the room, "Stupid old man," and I'll walk off.
Yes, and as you walk off, you are the butler. You are Harring, Mr. Harring. You are sitting outside, and you see another person roll up. You see the son, Horatio. Horatio the son, who's about in his 60s, has glasses, kind of a very ordinary man for this fantastical little world. It kind of just looks like a normal accountant, pencil pusher. And he walks out and he says, hello, Mr. Harring. Good to see you again.
Good morning, Master Horatio. Glad to see you have made it. Please,
Yes.
let me allow you inside. You look like your suit has been crumpled before in the midst of transit. Please allow me to fix that before you enter the manor. Can I pickpocket him?
Oh, yeah. Roll a sleight of hand check.
That's a 22.
Wow. Yeah. You fix up his coat and you take his wallet.
Okay.
It says, so thank you. Could you help my wife? She's a little bit clumsy getting out of the carriage.
Okay. Yeah, I will help his wife out as well.
She does not come out of the carriage. She's like, can you go get her?
As you wish, Master Horatio. I will walk into the carriage.
Okay, you walk into the carriage and you open the carriage and you see a giant ball of yarn.
A giant ball of yarn?
Yeah.
Is this normal to me?
This is not something you've heard of.
Okay. So your wife.
Yes, is there a problem?
No, just needing to make sure that she was okay for me to lift her out with your permission, sir.
Yes, she's very tired today. If you could lift her and bring her to a room for me, that would be wonderful.
Okay, I will lift this giant thing of yarn. I'm assuming is in a humanoid shape.
No, it's a ball.
Okay, I will lift this ball of yarn then and follow him up into the manor.
All right. As you are followed up, you see another servant, Thaddeus, come up to you. He's kind of a gruff dwarf that seems a little bit out of place among the servants, a little more grimy than everyone else. He says, "Hey, Harring, Baron wants to see you."
I'd love to speak to him in Dwarvish, because I'm guessing Master Horatio doesn't know Dwarvish.
Mm-hmm.
What does he want to talk about?
He will repeat back in Dwarvish. He wants to talk about how things are going to go tonight and some concerns about things that are going on around the palace, especially things that are going missing.
Okay. Can you send Fransisca to me real quick?
Yeah, I'll go find her.
All right.
Easy to find. Just look for the oil spills.
Yeah, correct. And I'll continue taking Master Horatio's wife with him up to their room.
Okay. Yeah, you go ahead and do that as we cut away to Baxter. Baxter, you're getting situated in your room. And as you are kind of getting settled, you see a rather tall woman, around 6 feet tall, in like a giant old granny wig and glasses, come up to you. You know this is Grandma Gugu, the wife of Baron.
Grandma Gugu, it's a pleasure to see you. Grandma Gugu, please do not drool from your mouth. You know that is unbecoming. Baxter will take one of his handkerchiefs from his vest and wipe Grandma Gugu's mouth. Very small mouth.
She pats you on the back.
Grandma Gugu, I was wondering, I recently painted something fresh and new, and I was wondering what you thought of it. Baxter takes out a painting with a cat and a ball of yarn on it, and in the painting, the cat is moving and playing with the ball of yarn. Grandma Gugu, I think it's one of my bests. I absolutely adore kitty cats. What do you think? Tell me, Grandma Gugu, how is Uncle? Do you think he's actually going to put us in the will at all? Please, you need to stop drooling, Grandma Gugu. Baxter wipes Grandma Gugu's mouth again.
She puts her tiny hands on your face.
Oh, Grandma Gugu. Baxter tenderly kisses the cheek of Grandma Gugu in a friendly way. Oh, Grandma Gugu. You always smell so fresh and so youthful. I don't know how you do it in your advanced age. I love you too, Grandma Gugu.
She'll kind of waddle away.
Mr. Harring, where is that man? Harring?
Mr. Harring is carrying the ball passing by your room of ball of yarn.
Excuse me, Mr. Harring, did you happen to get that water for me?
One of the servants should have brought it up to you. I will, as soon as I am able to bring Master Horatio's wife to the room, I will go myself. In fact, just one moment, and I will cast Unseen Servant.
Mm-hmm.
And I will have my Unseen Servant go and get the glass of water.
Okay.
Why, thank you. I've never actually met Master Horatio's wife. Where is she?
She's in the room sleeping at the moment. Master Horatio would prefer for her to get her rest for the day and make grand entrance for everybody.
I see. What is that you're carrying? There's something about it that I just feel so attracted to. I just want to touch it and play with it. What is that exactly?
That is Master Horatio's personal property, sir. I would advise you please not to touch, for that is his personal thing. By the way, your shoes seem to be very high class. It's almost like you could see your reflection in them.
You know how I hate reflections.
Obviously, if you look down, sir, you could possibly see that yourself.
No. You know that I don't look at reflections.
Well, I would suggest then, if that's the case, sir, you should possibly go ahead and try change your shoes for the event, just in case you accidentally do need to look down. You wouldn't want to see a mirrored version of yourself.
Well, of course. Is there someone here that you could suggest changing the shoe for me? You know I don't change shoes myself.
I could come and help you just as soon as I am done with helping Master Horatio, sir.
Fine. Gross.
Okay. By this
All right.
time, I'm sure my an unseen servant is now floated up with a glass of chilled water and a
Yes,
straw.
there's chilled water and a straw that just gets handed to Baxter.
I will
Good
have my
thoughts.
unseen servant also go and help with your shoes.
Well, blessed, thank you so much, Mr. Harring. You are most blessed this day.
Of course, sir. You have no worries. They'll take you. My unseen servant will take care of you as soon as I'm done with Mr. Horatio. And then I must see the master, of course.
Gross.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yes, and while we are outside, we go to outside now, and we see Fransisca. You seem to be looking around the garden. You do see some odd potholes that could be made by a small creature that could be around. You go over to the back, and you see that there is the power generator that is back there that powers the electricity of the house. And there seems to be some sort of critter in the bushes over there.
I'm going to try and sneak up on it and catch it.
All right, roll stealth.
Right. 1.
1. Great. You try to clink your way over as stealthily as a clockwork can, but you can hear the gears churning. You can see the oil spilling. You can see the sparks flying. And whatever is in this bush quickly burrows underneath and goes away.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna try and cast alarm around one of the little holes.
Okay. Yeah, you go ahead and cast alarm around one of the holes. As you're doing that and setting that up, you hear the clunking of another creature coming by. You see a huge 6-foot-tall clockwork golem in pristine condition, with a holding a pipe and like a smoking pipe and a little detective's hat on it, and it walks down.
You better be quiet or you'll scare him away.
It turns to you, says, "Who are you?"
Fransisca, who are you?
I am Detective Whodunit.
What are you detecting?
That is to be determined.
Okay.
You seem broken.
No, I'm a very advanced model. Probably more advanced than you. But who made you?
The Baron.
Oh. When?
Quite recently, for a very specific purpose.
Well, I bet my purpose is more important because I'm cleaning out the garden, and I'm a very old model, so I'm a very prized old prototype.
He kind of leans over and stares at you. You are on the list.
The list?
And it just walks away.
Is he gonna eat me?
And we will cut away from that to the Mistress. As all of these people are coming in, Stelleto, how are you preparing for the evening?
I am interested in finding the son, Horatio.
Yeah, it's very clear where he is. You can go to his room.
I'll go over there. Can I try to do that stealthily?
Yeah, you can roll stealth.
Sure. Let me get my thing here. Okay, plus. $13.
13. Yes. You hear him you creep up to the room and you can hear some sort of kissing noises that are happening on through the other side.
I will knock on the door.
The kissing will stop. He will walk over and open the door. Says, "Oh, it's you, the mistress."
Hello, Horatio. It's been a while. I'll say as I'm fanning myself.
Yes, it has been a while.
Are you going to invite me in or not?
Oh, yes. And he lets you in, and you see no one else in there besides a big ball of yarn that's a little wet.
What's that?
Oh, that's my new wife. Her name's Stringy. Say hi, Stringy.
It didn't
Nothing
say
happens.
anything.
She's tired. She's tired today.
Yes.
What can I do for you?
Well, your wife, right. Oh, I was just interested in seeing if you had any thoughts about your father and the meeting tonight.
Yes. Honestly, my father is one of the most unpredictable barons I've ever met. I don't know what he's going to do, and I rather don't care. I mean, would I have married Stringy if I care what he thought anymore?
Clearly not. I will try to get a little bit closer to Horatio. So, like, closing the distance physically between me and him. And I'll say, tell me about Stringy.
You're making me a bit uncomfortable, Stelleto. Maybe we should talk somewhere else and let my wife sleep a bit more.
Yes, let's talk in the parlor across the hallway.
Okay. He says goodbye to his wife, and you walk to the parlor.
I'll take like a very long look at this ball of yarn and just take it all in.
Yeah, you can make an insight check if you want on the ball of yarn.
Sure, let's make an insight check on the ball of yarn. I rolled a 1. So I look at this ball of yarn, and you know what? It's his life to live, I think. This family is a collection of inbred weirdos who should never have been born. So that's okay, live his life. He deserves it. I don't really care what he does in his free time.
And honestly, in your time, you've slept with things that are weirder than a ball of yarn. So
yeah, and I've done it for less money than that ball of yarn's doing. I'll let you know. So I'll head on with him to the parlor.
You head over to the parlor. He looks around, makes sure nobody is watching, and he just like plants one right on your lips.
Oh, Horatio!
I have missed you.
I've missed you too, darling.
You can't let my wife know, okay?
Oh, no, of course not. I'm sure you've been lonely. She looks a little rough around the edges.
She's very chaste, is the thing.
Yes. Well, you know, a wife is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Just don't let her know, and make sure my dad doesn't frickin' know.
Oh, your dad is preoccupied with a few other things at the moment. I don't think he'll be aware.
All right. And you guys start making out.
No. I hold on.
Oh.
As he's getting into it, I say, Horatio, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, I think our relationship can move forward a little bit. But I need to know that I'm in a secure position for the future. Do you think you could ask your father to get some advanced details on the will?
He hasn't really told me anything, but I'll try.
And if you succeed, I assure you, you will be handsomely rewarded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then I'll give him a little quick peck on the cheek and say, "Be good to your wife, Horatio. She looks very tired."
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'll attend to her.
Yes, and be sure to get me those answers, and we can meet up later.
Gotcha.
Yes. And I'll give him a good swift kick on the back and send him on his way.
All right.
And then as he leaves, I'll immediately wipe my lips and spit on the ground and go, "Oh God, tastes like lint." And I'll walk out the hallway.
All right. We will now go over to Mr. Harring, who are you right outside the office? Yes.
Before that, I'm hoping I would have met with Fransisca.
Yes, you can find her making the alarm spell out by the power generators.
Oi, Fransisca.
Yes.
Come here.
Yes, okay.
I lifted this off of Horatio, all right? I took my half. I don't know how much ended up being inside the wallet. How much was in there?
Oh, God. Bills, let's say 350 bills.
Okay. I took 100 out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to hand it to Fransisca, and I'm like, here, take this to Horatio up there. Say that you found it out here. And that he dropped his wallet and that you want to get it back to him.
But you took some?
Why would I take any? I wouldn't have taken any.
Oh.
I wouldn't say if you wanted to take some so you could try to get yourself your arm fixed, that would be within yours as you found it, so.
Okay.
All right. So when you get the chance, take that up to Master Horatio, who's taking care of his wife, Stringy.
Okay.
Post haste. When you get done here, of course.
Yes, of course.
Okay. And then, then I will go to the office.
All right. You head on up to the office as Fransisca heads up to Horatio. We will continue on with the butler, Harring, as you see his office doors open, and you can see that he, Baron Bottom, is groaning in pain a little bit.
I will... Entrance, master.
Yes, Harring. Come on in.
Yes, you called for me, sir. How can I help you?
Yes, start setting up dinner. I want all of the guests to gather for dinner and have a nice cordial chat. Make sure everything looks nice and pristine and good, okay?
Yes, sir.
Also, I've noticed things have been going missing around the manor.
Have they, sir?
Yes, there's been some spells gone from the library. There's been some treasure gone from my room. Would you suspect anybody particular, Miss Harring?
Well, sir, to be honest, at my particular moment, I couldn't think of a single person. Knowing from everything that you've told me so far, everybody usually seems to be on the up and up. Typically, those who would be the ones to be thieves would be the ones that would constantly be back and forth, sir, to steal said items, because then they would have a quick in and out. And most of the servants and I all live here, so there would be no reason to take said things. So, in all honesty, I couldn't think of a single person who would want to steal these things, sir. Unless you could think of anybody who has a constant in or out, always coming in and saying hi and so forth, and then leaving for a while, and then coming back only to say hi again, and then leaving immediately. But that is something that you would be able to figure out, sir. I could not.
Yes. Just keep an eye out, Harring.
Of course, sir. I will definitely keep an eye out.
Yes, it would greatly impact my will if I've caught anybody trying to take from me.
Might I suggest, sir, you get one of those seers. I hear they have one of those magical eyes that can keep sight around the area.
Bunch of malarkey.
Oh, fair enough. Sir. I remember some of that from wizarding school, but I will keep an eye out, sir.
I don't pay you to be a wizard. I pay you to do what I say.
You're absolutely right, sir. I will keep an eye out, and I will get dinner done post-haste in roughly the next hour or two.
Yes, I'm home for dinner. I want to see everybody that's here.
Yes, sir.
All right. And as you go off, the next couple of hours, everyone will be told to be summoned for dinner. I want everyone to tell me what they do right before dinner is served. So let's go to Baxter.
What I do during my time is I sketch a painting. Sketch a painting? I guess you can't do that. You sketch. He sketches a drawing. He sketches a drawing of his uncle with a giant bottom and him just farting and looking ugly and gross. Multiple sketches of this same scenario over and over, and just thinking to himself, what a gross old man. Ugh.
Cool. You do that to yourself for a couple hours?
Yes. And each drawing takes like maybe 5 minutes. So he does this multiple times for the entire all the hours.
Great. So that's happening there. Let's Fransisca, what do you do?
I pocket $100 from the wallet, and then I take it back up to Master Horatio.
Mm-hmm.
I probably try out like a nickname. I call him like Master Whore, and then that's terrible, and then I fix it.
Okay.
And then I go back to trying to get whatever's outside.
Okay. So yeah, you take the rest of the time. You cannot find what else is outside, even with your alarm spell. Horatio seems preoccupied with other things to check the wallet that you gave him. So, yes, Mr. Harring, what do you do?
Might I suggest Stelleto for this moment because there's somebody going
outside.
right outside. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, Stelleto, what do you do?
Well, Stelleto, she's probably interested in making sure Villers is tucked away in her room, kind of away from the party. The cat does not like other people, and so she tries to keep her sequestered. Otherwise, she just tries to get ready for the party in a more traditional fashion. She does her makeup. She tries to make herself look pretty. Does all the work that is required for that, and so that takes a long time. She tucks away her 2 daggers into their places just in case, and then she probably just gets ready for that the entire time, just trying to pretty herself up.
Gotcha. And finally, what does Mr. Harring do?
Well, Mr. Harring, of course, would have gone and told everybody what time dinner is to be ready, as well as gained all of the servants and continued to talk with the cook to figure out exactly what we were going to be having for dinner, which I believe for dinner tonight, said we were going to be having trolbalaya for dinner with a side of pate of elderbrain and a little bit of frogamouth calamari.
Wow, very fancy.
Right. I also take my dutiful 5-minute every 2-hour break and smoke some tobacco and snort some pixie dust to keep myself awake and continue on to my chores. Also
Great.
looking for any other things I could possibly pilfer along the way.
Wonderful. You do that, and it's time now for dinner, and everybody settles in. You see Horatio next to the ball of yarn, who is sat at the table. You see next to that is Grandma Gugu, who looks very tall and lanky sitting down. Very odd person for anybody who hasn't seen Grandma Gugu. All of you have seen her, but she just kind of like, she's one of the people that like exist and no one really, she just does her own thing and nobody really acknowledges her or cares too much. The Baron doesn't seem to care too much that she's still here.
I will make sure to put the bib on Madame Gugu just to be sure that she doesn't ruin the rest of the upholstery.
Yes, she does drool a lot. That's the one thing you know about her. She drools a lot. Yes, you do see at the head of the table, Baron Bottom with the elf healer again, but behind him, kind of giving him a massage. On the other side, you see Baxter next to an empty chair. And then after that, you see the Mistress Stelleto, and you see a big old robot, clockwork geared, kind of shining armor with a detective's hat and pipe, sit down. None of you know who this is besides so none of you know who this is, actually. And yes, that's all that's at dinner at the moment. And as you're all seated, you notice somebody walk in, and Baron says, "Finally, everybody's here." And you notice a Tabaxi person walks in with a sword at his belt. He kind of like a bravadoed mustache and like kind of a musketeerish hat and like a cape as he sits down. He says, "Ah, yes, Colonel Ketchup, thank you so much for joining us today, my old friend." And he says, "Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so sorry I'm late." And he sits down next to Baxter and says, "Oh, I don't believe I met you before. Who are you?"
Yes, hello, my name is Baxter Bottom, Esquire Jr. Nice to meet you.
"Oh, you're related to Bottom here."
Well, I lean over to his cat ear and I whisper inside. I go, "Well, I wish I wasn't. He was a bit of a poo-poo doo-doo head, if you catch my drift. My backdrift."
Yes, but you are, is someone married into the Tabaxi race?
What do you mean by that, sir?
That are you not a Tabaxi?
A tabaxi. I am fully human, just like my uncle himself. Well, it's nice to meet a tabaxi. I have always found myself acquainted with cats in a way that I cannot explain. But it's very funny that you bring that up. You are quite a comedian, Colonel Ketchup, sir.
He kind of looks around the room to see if there's like a prank being pulled.
Why are you looking around the room and not at me? Clearly the kindest one here to speak to you. I have an affinity for cats, 2 cats. I just said it a few moments ago.
Right. Anyways, thank you for inviting me, Baron Bottom. I appreciate the invitation, and I'm excited to hear about what you have to offer us, especially those that you are indebted to. And Baron's like, yeah, you'll get what's coming to you. I promise you that, Colonel Ketchup. Anyways, and he addresses everyone in the room. The butler and the groundskeeper also are on to the sides, ready to do whatever is asked of them as everybody's in this room. And says, welcome all. Thank you so much for coming on such short occasion. As many of you know, I am old. And he lets out like a giant fart. as he laughs at that.
I will be sure to cast prestidigitation so then that way it doesn't smell.
Yes, he says, thank you, Harring. That would have reeked. Thank you all for coming, friends, family, servants I pay to be here. Wonderful to know I'm surrounded by such squirreliate and wonderful folks. I know some of you are worried about the money, and I just have to say, don't worry. I've changed my will completely, and it looks very different. So as of now, don't worry about it. I will announce what it is at midnight tonight. So make sure that you're here at midnight, all right? So stick around. Why midnight, you ask? Well, it's just more damn dramatic. It's had a big fart again.
Of course, I will prestidigitation that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Good one, sir.
Yes, and he looks at his nephew and says, nephew, Baxter. Your parents too busy to come, I see.
They're always too busy for everything. You know that.
Are you still drawing stupid cat paintings?
Maybe. You mean beautiful cat paintings, of course.
I mean shit.
I turn to Colonel Ketchup and whisper in his cat ear, and I say, I have an affinity for cats,
Like brushes you away. Yes, this nephew of mine can really paint a shitty picture. Everyone.
Stop. I paint not shitty pictures.
I want everyone to laugh at him for his pictures. Everybody laugh and point. Does everyone do so?
Why do you have to do this every single dinner, Uncle?
Because it's funny.
Baxter tears up a little and whispers to himself, I have an affinity for cats.
And he says, all right, I lost my appetite. And he gets wheeled around by his doctor, for he was in a wheelchair, and leaves. And all of you, Stelleto, the Mistress, the Butler, the Harring, the Groundskeeper, Fransisca, and Baxter, the Nephew, stare at him with a murderous intent.
Hello, this is Kendall, the Dungeon Master for One Shot, One Dungeon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. We really appreciate the support because we are a new channel. Please let us know if you want more stuff like this, and if you ask for it, we will try and get it to you. Again, thank you so much for listening, and please, please, please tell your friends if you want this channel to grow and us to create more one-shots for you. Appreciate it. No, I could do it.